Fruitful Living with Sissel Anderson. Here on Morning Joy, where truth matters.
Welcome back to Morning Joy, where truth matters. I'm your host, Keith Downey, and welcome to another edition of Fruitful Living with Sissel Anderson. And of course, coming from halfway across the world, Sissel is actually joining us live from Bosnia in the village of Medjugorje, one of the most visited Marian pilgrimage sites in the world. My goodness. Good morning. Well, good afternoon to you, Sissel.
Honestly, I am loving doing morning joy in the afternoon. I have so much more brain power at this time of the day. So I think we should make this a permanent thing that I come on 7 hours, go to move to a time zone that's 7 hours in advance. Dare I say hello from the future? Can I say that? Because
Yes,
I'm
you
7 hours ahead of you all. It's great to be here with you, Keith. And I'm so excited that we get to do this, that we get to come to you live from Medjugorje. And we really want to just do a big shout out and thank you to the folks here at Mary TV. They are the local communications here in Medjugorje, and you can go into their website, marytv.tv, if you want to see all of their live streaming that they do. It is free for everyone to be able to see this. And there's some people, including like Dennis and Kathy Nolan, who are from South Bend, Indiana, and also the Matasso family in the Dallas area, who supported, and a lot of other people who've supported to make this something free and available to everyone for the past 30 years. So, and if you tune in to Mary TV, you might see in the next few days, especially as we're on this anniversary here at Medjugorje of the apparition, the day that the six visionaries were gathered together and saw our Blessed Mother. You might actually get to see some of maybe even our pilgrims from our trip here in the North Texas area, because we've been participating in the nightly rosary with Yvonne, and there's definitely been little clips of us. So if you want to catch myself, Dave Palmer, and some other folks from the GRN and DFW area, make sure you tune in to marytv.tv. But yeah, it's been super exciting. I know Dave gave a great highlight of what we've been doing, but I would like to share a little bit more about some of my personal experiences, particularly with the very penitential things that you can do while you're here in Medjugorje, because I did not realize how many beautiful opportunities you had to both physically and spiritually be open to the Lord. It's been, I think I've gotten like my workouts in for the next month with what we have been doing, but I'd love to share a little bit more about that and some of the fruits that I've already seen from it. So I know Dave has mentioned that we've gone up to Apparition Hill, and as the Guadalupe Radio Network family is hopefully aware of, is that we're working on an exciting project while we're here. We're filming a documentary, and I am one of the people behind the cameras. And so when that is the case, that means that we're going up the hill with cameras while everyone is praying. We are also hoping to be in a prayerful state as well, but there's also the technical side of lugging camera from place A to place B and try not to distract people, try not to, trip on the hill. And so my friend Isabel, who is with me, helping with this, we've had to be very intentional about making sure that we take a little bit of time some point during the day to also be just pilgrims. And so after we had hiked up the hill one time together as a group, we made kind of a last minute decision later that day in the evening, because the sunset was really beautiful, the weather was lovely, to go ahead and hike up again. And it was one of those things we had to go back and forth. We were like, do we want to do this again? We're a little tired. Something about Medjugorje that's always mentioned is that it's very peaceful, but I also feel like it makes you slow down and just want to rest a lot. And so we kind of went back and forth, but we ultimately decided to do it, and we decided to do it barefoot, which is a really big deal here. A lot of people will do that for extra penance, and it's a beautiful thing to do. Maybe we slightly underestimated how difficult that would be, but we went up with our list of intentions that we had gotten from friends and family. Going up was okay. Going down was a little bit harder, very slow, but there got to a point where we were walking down and we quite literally had to start saying out loud with each step who we were doing this for. Like why we were doing this, why any pain that we were feeling, because if we started complaining the whole time, I think that would lose all of the grace and the offering up that was happening. But we had to offer up every step. And we finished it. We were very proud of ourselves. We're like, okay, let's not do that again anytime soon, but didn't really think much more of it. But what was interesting is that later that evening, I received a text from someone who had sent an intention with us to Medjugorje. And basically was indicating that that intention, that the prayer that they asked for, was some big things were happening with it.
Mm.
And when we calculated what time that that had happened, it was right at the time that we had decided to choose to go up the hill barefoot, and there that was the name that we were saying as we were walking down the hill. And I thought, oh my goodness, because when I came to Medjugorje, I wasn't sure, like, again, with being a little bit distracted with going documentary, what graces could I get from this? And I remember at the top of Apparition Hill, I asked, I asked the Blessed Mother, like, please just do whatever it is that you want to do with me this trip, whatever it may be. And just maybe there was even just the tiniest bit of doubt of like, what could you do for me right now? I don't feel like maybe I've given you enough this trip. And it was just such a beautiful sign for me to just see that very immediate reaction of what that penitential act that we were able to do was. And so that was just something that's a very small fruit. I'm sure there's much more that's going to come from it, but there have been so many other opportunities for us to take part in. For whatever reason, Isabel and I also decided to the next morning get up at 5:15 in the morning with a few other of our members of our group and take a taxi over to another town where we did a roughly 8-mile walk from St.
Wow.
Anthony's and to back to St. James here in Medjugorje. And it's called the Peace March. And you're praying the rosary the whole time. There's people represented from all sorts of different countries. There's a lot of people from Ukraine represented, and it was such a beautiful opportunity. Another very difficult thing, but I was just like, all the people we're offering this up for, what a beautiful opportunity we have. And then something that we did just this morning is that there, in addition to Apparition Hill, here in Medjugorje, there's a beautiful, they call it Cross Mountain.
Hmm.
Which was kind of an intimidating name when they say let's go up Cross Mountain, and it is definitely a little bit more intense than the Apparition Hill, but it has the Stations of the Cross on it, and you get to pray the stations. And our tour guide Ivanka was cracking me up because we got up to about 11 or 10, and I was getting pretty tired at that point. And someone had asked, "Well, how many more are there?" And she's like, "Well, there's 25 on this hill." And I just went in my head, I went, "Uh-oh." And I thought, it's okay. But I was like, I was at peace. I was like, it's okay. Whatever, God, you can get me through this. And then she starts laughing. She's like, no, there's only 14. It's like, don't do that to me. Don't tease me like that. But I was ready to do it. But I've just really enjoyed both the very physical and spiritual ways that we have been able to live out our faith and offer things up for all the intentions that we brought to our Blessed Mother on this
Mm.
trip so far.
Wow, that is an incredible story. Now, you mentioned walking barefoot up Hill. Was it Apparition Hill or
Apparition
mountain?
Hill, yes.
What is the terrain like? Because I can just imagine. I like wince when I'm out in my backyard barefoot. But what was that like?
I really thought I had like built up for this moment because I walk around barefoot a lot, especially as like kids. I would walk around
Hmm.
on hot cement all the time, but nothing quite prepares you for this. And I have been told that what we're walking on now is much nicer than it was when these apparitions first started and pilgrims first started coming to Medjugorje, but
Mm.
it is quite rocky. They're not all flat rocks. There's a lot of very pokey rocks, and you think a rock's going to be good to step on, but they sometimes are not. So that's when you offer up an extra prayer in that moment. But it is very rocky, very uneven, very rocky.
Wow,
But it's very beautiful.
that's
So
so
imagine
cool.
imagine the pilgrims early in the days that when they first heard, our Blessed Mother coming in, they were nothing was going to stop them from going up. And so despite the rough
Hmm.
terrain, it has gotten smoothed over with people just the constant walking up, but it's still very rough.
Hmm. So, for those out there who aren't able to go on a pilgrimage like this, what advice do you have for embracing penitence right at their
Mm.
home?
You know, our tour guide, Ivanka, has been wonderful in keeping everything so spiritually focused and just reminding us of what the purpose of our pilgrimage is. And when she was telling us about going up on Cross Mountain, she was talking to us yesterday on the bus. And she was giving the warning that it is more difficult than Apparition Hill. It might be very physically strenuous for some of our, members, and said that don't do anything that's going to harm you physically. and that would be their penance. Their penance would be that they are unable to join us in going on this journey. And so sometimes I think the very fact that maybe you're not able to go and do all the, the big holy sites that you want to go to, obviously I would highly recommend coming to Medjugorje or any other holy site that you can. But maybe the fact that you can't do that, there are so many other little things that you can offer up here. And part of that might be that, okay, maybe that's just not in the cards for me, that I'm just not going to be able to do that. And so I think every day lends an opportunity for us to embrace penance.
Very cool. So I know it's afternoon for you right now. What's on the rest of the docket for the day?
Yes, well, like I mentioned at the beginning, that this is the anniversary day, 44 years since the 6 visionaries went up on the hill. And so tonight there is a evening program that's going to happen, and you can be seen on Mary TV. And I've heard there's going to be adoration and rosary, and I think somewhere around 40,000 people are going to be in the square at St. James. And it is going to be very beautiful. I am excited just to see the representation of the different countries. We have a big Texas flag, I believe we've brought with us, so we're going to be flying that. Nice. So if you do tune in, look out for the Texas flag, because Republic of Texas is where we're from. So I'm very excited about that, and I've heard that the adoration is really beautiful, and I believe adoration is going to go throughout the night at St. James, but they're going to have an hour with like some music as well. And so I'm very excited to partake in that.
I bet. Wow. This is what an incredible journey, and just a beautiful opportunity that we are to tune in, or at least connect with you, Dave and Sean. Tomorrow, Friday, Sean. Thursday, Sean. Yeah, I'm getting
tomorrow, Sean. Yes.
I feel like I'm 7 hours ahead. Thanks again, Sissel, for joining us. For those out there, make sure once Sissel and Dave come back, to tune into Back to the Father. That's every Friday afternoon at 1 p.m. Central on GRN Online. So any of the social medias, you'll be able to find them. But thanks again, Sissel. We will continue to pray for you and the group that's over there. Thank you so much. And that is it for the end of our first hour of Morning Joy. If you are unable to stick around with us after the break, we'll have the second hour ready to go for you, either on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or on YouTube and Rumble. So make sure to check those out. Search Morning Joy Radio or GRN Online. And for those that are leaving, we'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning, Thursday, 6 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. Eastern. Make it a joyful day. But hey, if you're staying with us, hang tight. Coming up in the second hour, the strange gods of today, money, power, even sports. Are they quietly replacing God in your life? Ed Van Buskirk is joining us to talk all about it. And don't forget, tomorrow at this time on Morning Joy, Alan Smith is going to be talking all Bishop Sheen on his Bishop Sheen segment, so make sure to tune into that. But we are in for a coffee break. We'll see you right after on Morning Joy, where truth matters.
This has been Morning Joy, where truth matters, hosted by Keith Downey. Take some joy with you today. Visit grnonline.com/joy to listen again, share a segment, or answer the question of the day. That's grnonline.com/joy.